All right, Dog Nation, let me set the stage here. Do you remember Christmases growing up in the South where the older children of the grandparents get together and they shower their loved ones, their mom and dad, who's grandma and grandpa to the kids, and they say, you shouldn't have done this. You did too much. You did way too much. This, my friends, is going to be our We Did Way Too Much edition of Before the Hedges, brought to you by Kroger. We've got a lot to get to. We've got so much stuff. We've got a live special guest hanging out in the Zoom room right now. That is Georgia 2024 running back signee Nate Frazier. We're going to get to him in about maybe 3 or 4 first downs. We're going to set up the show first because we don't just have Nate Frazier. You know, everybody remembers that classic 1990s movie, maybe everybody, Boomerang, where they're talking about the mushroom shirt and the mushroom belt and the mushroom pants. Well, not only we have Nate Frazier in the house right now for Dog Nation's Before the Hedges, we're going to have a Dog Nation conversation from a really cool chat I had recently with 4-star quarterback commit Ryan Montgomery. That's going to be awesome. We're going to have a kind of a video story. It's not really a true Dog Nation conversation, but it's a piece I put together to kind of show you good folks what it feels like to get a UGA offer in the year 2024. Is it still special? Do your teammates rally around you? It's kind of a really good piece. Like, we take for granted how many people, great players, Georgia offers. So that's going to be good. You want to hear from CJ Wiley, major wide receiver target, maybe even the top wide receiver target on the board right now for Georgia at receiver. We've got a Dog Nation conversation there. We've got a Dog Nation conversation with Ethan Barbour, the anchor tight end commitment in the class. And you want to talk about a big five. When you go Nate Frazier, you go Ryan Montgomery, you go, what's it feel like to get a UGA offer these days? And you got CJ Wiley, and you got Ethan Barbour of the defending state champions now in 5A Milton High Eagles. That's a lot. That is a loaded show. We've also somehow found a way to shoehorn in one of our kind of classic Before the Hedges Easter eggs. And an Easter egg I want you to look for all the content tonight. And if you see it, I want you to shout out Easter egg in the comment section below. But the clue to look for is a Dog Nation staffer in a Halloween costume or in a costume type event. When you see it, look for it, let us know, and we'll talk about that one as well. Big show, loaded show, so let's get this thing going right now. Let's try and hit the hole here on DawgNation.com's Before the Hedges, kind of like the way Nate Frazier does, coming out of Modern Day High School in Santa Ana, California. This dude cannot wait to get to Athens. He's probably got a clock on his phone counting down the days. I think he's got 27 more days. Nate Frazier out in California, sir. How are you doing tonight, man?
DawgNation, how y'all doing, man?
Nate.
47 days, man. Only 24 more days, man. It's coming.
24 days. You told me, what, June the 2nd? Is that when you're going to show, or is it earlier?
You know, June 2nd is when I get out there. June 2nd.
Nate, what have you been doing, man? I hear you've been getting swole. You've been working on track times. I think you told me 5'10", 204. What you look like right now? What are you working on right now?
Really, man, I'm just working on being the best me I possibly can, man, on and off the field, man, mentally and physically. That's really mainly what I'm working on to prepare myself when I get to the G.
How does it feel? I know you had a transition from Coach Dell, great coach, great mentor, great recruiter, now to Josh Crawford. I think I've caught on your social media, you've been doing some Zooms, and you got like all kinds of top secret playbooks somewhere in your possession, man. You got run game, you got perimeter, you got install. What's that been like getting to be coached over Zoom right now? Kind of like what it was like back in COVID.
It's really a great feeling, you know, to be able to get on campus, to have like a little head start of the playbook, knowing what you need to do and prepare yourself for the things that you need to know so you can get on the field as early as possible. So it's like a great feeling to have those plays, being able on my free time outside of school, outside of training, to be able to go over that every single day as possibly as I can so I can have a head start and be ready when I get there. So it's very good to have those plays and all that stuff, man. It's good.
What's Coach Josh like? What's Coach Crawford like? How's he similar or different from Dell?
I wouldn't really say different. I don't really compare people. You know, everybody is perfect and they're good in their own ways. You know, Coach Crawford's a great guy just as well as Coach McGee is a great guy as well. But you know, Coach Crawford, he's a great coach, man. He's like really driven. You can tell he loves the game and he pays attention closely to every single detail of the running back position. And he's very excited, you know, coming from Georgia Tech, then coming from I believe it was Georgia Tech, then coming from Georgia, you know, one of the I'm not gonna say one of the best programs. I'm gonna say the best program in college football. You know, so he's excited just as well. I'm excited. I'm new, just he's new. So you know, it'll be great to get a fresh start from him, just as it's a fresh start for me. You know, us going over the process of our first year being at Georgia. So man, but Coach Crawford all around, he's a great person, man. He is a great person, a great family guy, just as Coach McGee was as well. You can tell he's very determined of the Georgia football program.
So I want to make sure you guys know about this to appreciate Nate for joining us. You can follow him on social media at NateUA1. I think it's very rare Nate on Instagram.
Yeah, very rare Nate on Instagram.
Yeah, you might have 2 or 3. You know, that's some people roll these days. Nate, I want to ask you, because let's go back to some history. Why was it Georgia? And I don't think people don't mind us telling the world now, but it was Georgia for a while before you committed and back in August, right? Tell me when the lightning bolt hits you and you're like, man, I just got to be a dog.
If you guys want me to be so honest, the first I give it the first 30 minutes to an hour when I stepped on the campus, like it was just a feeling. Walking in the stadium, just, you know, it's going to be 90,000 people action-packed. The history behind it, the coaches, you know, it felt like a second home. You know, it's honestly, it was probably like the first hour to 30 minutes in my head. I'm like, yeah, this is where I belong. Like, I felt bad because I would like communicate with coaches and other coaches and be like, yeah, yes, sir, coach, you know, this and this. But I knew deep down inside, I'm like, I'm not going to no other school, man. Like Georgia, it just felt like home the first visit. And I told Coach McGee that when he was there, I'm like, don't be surprised, Coach, if I give it a month or two that I just go, you know, release it to the public and stuff like that. But honestly, it was the first thing. It's just like everything was right. Besides football, if we're not talking football, academically, it's one of the hardest schools to get to into the country. You know, having that University of Georgia on your resume as well, you know, because a lot of athletes don't think about plan Bs. I'm a person that think about plan B. Of course, that's not my main option of a plan B. I always stick to my plan A because that's what I'm pushing forward to. But you always have to think about a plan B. And so having University of Georgia on your resume can get you a lot of places and open a lot of doors for you as well. So as far as the football part, it has a great academic part as well.
Nate, when was it, that first visit? Was it like in April, March of last year? When was it?
I believe it was about April 16th, wow. Something like that. Yeah, wow. Yeah. It was pretty early, man. In 2023, it was quite early, man. It was early.
So my man, what's it been like watching them go through spring practice and G-Day? And you're just probably dying inside wanting to be there, right?
Sick. I'm sick. My stomach dropping, man. I'm just wishing. I went on a visit recently back in, I think it was January, and I'm just sitting there watching the practice, just knowing, like, if I would have graduated early, this would have been me right here. It hurts, but yep. There's only a couple more days till I'm there, you know. And one thing I would say, like, I'm kind of I wish I would have got on campus early, but I'm kind of grateful, you know, to that I stayed back a little bit to enjoy a little bit more time with my family as much because, you know, me personally, I feel like if I would have left in January, I would have been fine. I would have still been fine. But it's, you know, it's always good to spend time with your loved ones more, you know, just take in those times that's probably never going to happen again, like prom and all type of stuff like that. So, you know, it's all good. It's okay.
How did high school track end up? Did you get 10.6, 10.5? I know you're wanting to go way low.
No,
how'd that work?
High school track, it went well. But one thing I would say, I took a break from high school track. Because I didn't want to risk anything happening. Me going into Georgia with no nicks, knacks, bruises, anything happening. So I just I cut it off. I cut track off, but it was for a good reason, for a good cause, though, because I know I'm not going to be running track in college. I'm going to be strictly football, so I know I have to think outside the box and think for myself and, you know, and stuff like that, you know, make the best option for me. So I quit off track.
Nate, a few questions. I'm going to let people got a question for Nate, drop it in YouTube, drop it in Facebook. But I think one thing I want to know is two things. One, dude, you have a light about you, and it is, I don't know how spiritual you are or whatever, but you can tell that somebody has touched you. And I mean, spiritually, like you've got God's light in front of you or something like that. Your story, I mean, when people meet you for the first time, like I saw you, like one thing, I do this a lot of years, man. And like when I see the All-Americans out in Texas, sometimes people are like, this is not for me. I'm out. Like they don't like crowds. They don't like people. But it looked like you were talking to, I don't know, every time somebody came up, it was like you were talking to Bo Jackson's kid or, you were talking to like the richest man in the world's kid. It was like somebody's like, hey, let's get a picture. Do you mind if I get a picture? It's like, yeah, let's do that, man. Let's get one of those right now. Like, Nate, where does that come from, man? Because it is very rare in today's world.
Honestly, man, I'm a humble person. And I'm a very humble person. And me personally, I know the smallest things can go a very long way for people. And I've seen it happen. And I stick to being humble because me personally, I know where I come from. I know I was that kid wishing to get pictures with, growing up watching USC football, wishing to get pictures with people like Marquise Lee and all these people that are doing great things. And it just gives you motivation. And it doesn't hurt if you have the time. It doesn't hurt to just make a person day with something small as a picture, as an autograph, put a smile on a kid's face. You never know what that can do to people. And I got messages from people on Twitter and from people in my messages and on Instagram saying just the smallest thing as just giving a kid motivation or a word or just 2 to 5 minutes of your time. Just it made their day, or it made their kid go hard in school, go hard at practice, or just the smallest stuff, and it doesn't hurt. It's not like it took my time away from nothing. And it's actually, I enjoy putting smiles on people's faces. Like, that's something that makes my day. Putting a smile on somebody else's face makes me smile. So I have no problem with it. I just got a good heart. I love making other people smile because it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt, especially how the world is now. It's too much pain. It's too much hurt, too much trauma. I just try to do the best I possibly could to put smiles on others' faces because it just doesn't hurt.
Nate, I got to talk to you about this. Like, I've been around. We've done probably 20 commitment videos for Georgia prospects. We did Kendall Milton's. We did a lot of them throughout the years. And I was very taken by your commitment video. And it was not just because of your narration. And if you guys don't know it, it is a little bit, and I don't want to too Hollywooded up a little bit, but there are some threads of your story to Boys in the Hood, growing up in Compton, football star. There are some echoes of that in there. But first of all, I don't even know many people in the media know this because it's my job to know everything about these young men. I did not know that Nate wrote his commitment video script out.
Oh, yeah.
And Nate, I've written for 25 years of my life, man. That was some very good writing. It was very genuine. It was on point. It was right there where it needed to be. And I felt that, man. Not only did I felt what you wrote, but I felt what you said and the way you said it. What do people need to know about that commitment video that shares your story?
Mainly, what people need to know about that video, I wanted it to be a story. I wanted it for people to feel it as a story. Like, everything I said, I wanted people to feel it. Like, just in a matter of it was a 4-minute video. I just wanted a 4-minute video of me saying a little bit of words, putting a couple of images in there, a couple of places where I grew up at, my grandma's homes, the Watts Towers. Where else did I go? I went to the Compton City Hall and stuff like that. Like, little small places like that to tell my story. Okay, this is where you grew up from. Everybody knows the pretty sides of, Los Angeles, California. Everybody knows the Hollywoods. Everybody knows the Venice beaches, the Laguna beaches. But people don't really know from the outsiders, people don't really know the dark side, like the Comptons and the Watts and the Westmonts and Los Angeles and stuff like that. So I just wanted people to know the story. Like, everybody from where I come from and from places that is bad and stuff like that, kids have different mindsets. People want to do different things, It's a lot of kids that don't have the resources to be able to do certain things. There's a lot of people that tried, but it just didn't work. But I just wanted people to know that, you know that it's a pretty to the dark side, man. It's a pretty to the dark side. That's really all I wanted people to know, that it was a story from me. I didn't have it easy. You know, I had to work every single day for it. You know, not work every single day, but I worked hard for, you know, the things that I got in life now, you know. And I know it's not much, but I work hard for it, man. That's all I really wanted people to know.
Speaking of working hard, we're going to talk to Nate for maybe 10 more minutes, but he's got to get to a workout. And Nate has taken this stuff very seriously. If you guys seen some of his social media posts, he's got the chains like he's a junkyard dog working. And I guess that's what, Nate, you want to be in the very best shape of your life when you get to Georgia. How's that going so far?
It's going pretty good, man. So I've been, you know, working on better things like meal prepping. You know, my workouts, trying to make it more intense and stuff like that, high-level workouts and stuff like that. So it has been going pretty well. I've been trying to, you know, develop myself more as a pro athlete and stuff like that already, you know, even in high school still. But I know in a couple more days I'll be in college, but I've been trying to develop myself as a pro athlete now so I can be used to it already. My body can be used to it when I get to those next levels.
A little bit of info. Nate and I were talking before we jumped on live. And he was going to try to be 6, but 6 is taken by Dominic Lovett. And now 3. He's got his eyes on 3. So you Dog fans that are loving what Nate Frazier's rolling with and what he's all about, 3 might be the jersey he ends up copying when he gets to Athens because, of course, 3 got vacated by Andrew Paul. So potentially there might be some upperclassmen going for that number. But, you know how it rolls. That's how Kirby rolls, man.
No, I know. Me personally, man, the number – doesn't matter. It's just the logo in front of the jersey, man. Yep. You know, you make your so whatever happens, it doesn't really matter. I'm just blessed and glad to be able to be playing in the Georgia uniform, man. I'm just blessed, so it doesn't matter, man.
Man, Nate could be wearing, I don't know, 69 and a half. He could be wearing 33. He could be wearing 6. He could be wearing any number, and he's gonna make that thing. He's gonna make that jersey fly because that guy's got a gear. He could be wearing anything, man, because he has that gear. So questions. I'm going to let the people get at you. CK Emmett fan. These are some cool comments, man. You're already touching people's hearts. Nate, please promise us you won't go in the portal ever. There's one that says, Nate, he wants to know, what's your favorite movie and food? All the way from South Georgia, Randy Payne. You got one? What's your favorite movie, favorite food?
My favorite movie? That's a hard one. And my favorite food? That's a hard one. I'll say my favorite movie. It's a movie called 3 Strikes. It's funny. I'd say that's probably my favorite movie. My favorite food, oh God. Probably what, chicken wings?
Yeah, man. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with lemon pepper wings.
I don't know, man. It's a lot of food. I love food, so I don't really have an answer for that.
Lots of stuff here. Let me see. Let me hop on Facebook for a little bit. Tony Cox says, very impressive young man that had his head on right. Work hard and stay straight, Nate, and you'll be a huge success. This is one, I believe, from Randy Hall. He wants to know what degree you're going to start out trying to work for at UGA. You got a thought yet about what course you're studying?
I'm for sure going for my business degree.
Business degree. Man probably wants to own real estate and make his money work for him.
That's the big thing. I want to get my real estate license as well and try to get a minor in sports communication because I feel like I'm kind of good on the camera. I don't know. I used to be shy, but I feel like I'm doing pretty better now.
I feel like you're all right, man. I mean, you can run those 60-yard touchdowns for about 20 more years, but you'll be good at that too. Josh Armstrong says, this dude is explosive, home run every time he touches it, elite speed and quickness. His highlight tape is worth watching. Marshall Fleming says, I knew he was a talented running back, but he sounds like a great young man. Michael Sumner says, love his humbleness. Michael Sumner says, smart young man as well. This dude is fast. Can't wait to watch him between the hedges. Lots of questions coming in. Marshall Fleming says, I watched his game film, amazing back, but I love his style and mindset. Sounds like a great young man and a DGD. DGD, that's really good. I don't know if you know that, Nate, but
I figured out what it meant.
Yep.
I figured out what it meant. I used to always question myself, like, what does this mean? And I think it's like something that says HBFTD. I had to figure out what that meant. I didn't know. I had to search it up. I'm like, what is these people talking about? But I know what it means now. I know what both of those phrases mean.
Yep. There's a lot to get to learn with all these dog people down here in Athens. Let me see. Nate, I saw this earlier. I saw it in the chat. I just kind of flagged it. Somebody wanted to know, did you have a player you appreciated at Georgia growing up? Did you know a guy at Georgia that you like to watch play? Was there a favorite dog? I mean, there's a couple of, really big names. Some of them are California based, but was there anybody at Georgia you really watched a lot?
Watched a lot, like when I was younger or like around this time now?
No, it just could be anybody. I guess he wanted it. The question was, did you have a favorite player?
Okay.
But
if you want me to be, if you guys want me to be, I think I watch DeAndre Swift highlights every single day.
Wow.
By sick edits, I think I watch those highlights every single day. Yeah, so if we talking about favorite player over the history, I know we had a lot of great backs, man. I know we had a lot of great backs, but some of those backs weren't able to get quality highlights on YouTube, so I can't go back and watch it. So I think most recently, probably the person, the running back. Don't take away from none of the other running backs. Trust me, I watched them too, man, because I'm trying to see how they became great and try to be the next one. But I think I watch DeAndre Swift highlights more than I watch any other running back highlights. Yeah, I watch Nick highlights, Sony highlights. I watch all our Georgia Herschel Walker highlights as well. I watch every single running back highlights that's been successful at the University of Georgia, and even the ones that weren't successful and still work. I guess successful still because being able to start at Georgia is successful to me personally. Everybody doesn't make it to the NFL, but still that's successful to me. But I watch every single running back I heard of, search it up on YouTube, see what I can watch them, man, because there's very special backs.
So I think one of the most common player parallels, guys like me in the business that evaluate players, they do drop the DeAndre Swift comparison to your game. So I'm sure you're fine with that, right? You don't mind that? You don't mind people saying that you got that type of DeAndre Swift style to your game?
I don't mind what style people say I have, man. It doesn't matter to me. I just like to, show it on the field.
How would you describe the way you run? How would you describe your style, your game?
How can I say this? I wouldn't say I play angry. I do play angry. I just say I run with a passion. I run with a purpose. I play with a purpose. I play like it's my last football game ever, or I play with a purpose. I say that's how I really describe my game. Just playing with a purpose, playing with a reason, and stuff like that. Playing the game because I love it as well, but playing the game because I know if I do everything right, if I play this game as hard, this would be a way I can be able to take care of my family, take care of my mother, my loved ones, my community, be able to provide for my community and stuff like that. Being able to make a change. I play with a big purpose.
Anybody on the team you're really close with that have been telling you about like what it's like so far as a dog? Who are you hearing from? Who are you talking to about what it's like already in Athens?
I talk to my boy Chauncey Bowens, and, probably every day. I remember when I came up there, I think this was about January or December or something like that. I came on a visit, and Ryan was up there, and he was like, "Bro, come in shape, bro." He's like, "It's hard." I'm like, what? He's like, "Bro, come in shape, bro. Learn the playbook, bro. Learn whatever you could now. Like, it is not easy." I'm like, okay, that's what being the dog about. So, I heard from Chauncey, it's hard too, but it's fun, man. It's a process. That's mainly what I heard. Like, it's a process. It's fun, and it takes time. It's really a process. It's a marathon. As I say, it's this great person out here. I really watch a lot of stuff about, which is Nipsey Hussle. Rest in peace to him. It's a marathon. He used to say that word a lot. It's a marathon. So it's really a marathon.
Man, I love Nipsey's stuff a lot, man. He had great stuff, man. Pay the cost, be the boss, all that stuff, man. California. Just keep a few more things, Nate. We've got a couple people asking more.
No, it's fine.
More questions. There's some people that are saying, Eastbound Dog just says, "God bless you, young man." Jerry Dogs fan. He was the one that asked the good question about who was your favorite Georgia running back to watch. Some people have said, how how are your pass protection skills right now? You got to do that or Kirby will get you. You know those young backs, man. You got to be able to protect more than you got to run the rock.
I know. That's why in my highlight video, I made sure I put my pass protection in there because I know at that level, that's a very important thing. You know, so one thing I can thank Modern Day for is, like, even at high school, I know it's a lot of high schools out there that really don't do pass protection in practice, like make it a thing that's very important. But I know at that level, it's very important. In Modern Day, we had a whole entire 30-minute individual drill with running backs, linebackers, the whole offensive line, defensive line, specifically just working on gap schemes of pass protection. So I know I'm not perfect at all. I know I'm not saying I'm perfect. I know it's a lot of things I have to work on, especially with pass protection, because, you know, the linebackers in Modern Day High School in the Trinity League, we give them an average about, 6'2", 205 to 220 pounds. Linebackers in the SEC, we give about an average like 6'4", 6'3", 240 to 250 pounds. So, and they're much faster too. So, it's a lot I got to work on, like technique-wise to make it easier for me. Because usually I say, like, I was okay in pass protection. I just try to, like, kind of out-muscle people because I was, like, as strong as a linebacker that I'm, doing pass protection on. But I know it's a whole different ballgame. And I just got to do it the smartest way possible and the most technical way possible for it to be as easy as me in pass protection. The good thing is, though, with the offensive lineman we got, we probably, in the receivers we got, we only going to need about, I give it 5 seconds, 3 seconds max that I'm going to be having to block that 6'5", 6'4", 250 to 60-pound linebacker. So, yeah.
Nate, I got one quick one for you. Excuse me. So what's it going to be like when you get to Georgia in the jersey, on the field? You'll be playing Clemson your first game as a Dog. It won't actually be in Sanford. It will be in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Like, what's it going to be like when you're finally there playing for the Dogs?
It's going to be crazy, man. I'll probably start crying in the middle of the stadium because I'll be like, it's really here. Like, it's going to be crazy. I think I'm going to be just as excited. I think it's going to really be crazy when it's time that I go out to my first practice up there at Georgia, and I just put on a helmet, and then, hearing Kirby on the microphone just going off, saying Nate Frazier, saying something like, Coach Kirby probably the funniest coach I ever seen in my life. That's probably gonna be crazy, but I think it's gonna be great to play in the Mercedes Stadium. But I know that first game in the Sanford Stadium, seeing all the fans going wild and hearing the kickoff and all the chants and all that stuff. My mom ran, in the crowd. My people back home texting me good luck and all that stuff. Like, I'm so excited, man. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. I'm so excited. It's gonna feel unreal for sure. I'm gonna have to slap myself a couple of times to make sure I'm not dreaming and I'm really here. But it's gonna be crazy, man.
Nate, you kind of gave it up away a little bit, but, like, I believe in this life we don't get anywhere on our own. For you, who do you have to thank to be amid all these blessings that are going to come down for you right now in your life? Who do you have to thank for raising you up and maybe being the young man you are today?
First of all, I want to thank this man right here. I want to thank God first. Thank God first, man. But my mom, my father, people that played pivotal roles, just not it's not even, blood-related people. It's just anybody that helped me with the smallest things, from a car ride to a mental talk, and just really everybody who's played a role. Coaches, really everybody that's been here with me my whole way through, or from 2 years to 1 year. I just want to thank everybody, because like I said, you never know what a talk or just simple things can do, man. I want to thank everybody that's been with me through this whole process, man. A lot of people. There's too many names to name, but, family, coaches, friends, I don't want to say no names. I don't want nobody left out and thinking I forgot about it. That's not the case. But, everybody that's, they know who they are.
Wow. One last parting thought. Dro Suervo Chavez Jr. First of all, if that's your real name, props to you, man. Dro Suervo Chavez Jr. You got some swag on that name. You got some spice on that name. But he simply says, we can't lose with young men like this. And of course, he's talking about Georgia. And I think most of you guys that are watching tonight and hanging out with us and Nate tonight would appreciate that. I got one quick story. Nate, who says he wants to be in sports communications, let me brag on him a little bit because he has a teammate in modern day called Brock. They call him Baby Brock, but it's Mark Bowman. He's a 2027 tight end. The man Hartley really wants him to be a dog already. He's got major game, great football player, great skills. He looks like he would be a really good 2025 tight end right now, and he's a 2027. But never happened to me before in my media career, and this kind of shows where Nate's all about. I said, hey, man, what's the deal with I just wanted a quote. He's your teammate. He was your freshman. He caught like 4 touchdowns. He played really well. He already had a Georgia offer. And I said, hey, what's the deal with Mark? And this fella right here, Nouveau, Swerve, or whatever, Nate Frazier does a voice texts it back to me, and it is a perfect minute, 20-second soundbite about all the things that these dog people down here in Georgia need to know about Mark Baby Brock Bowman, who wears number 19 for modern day. Now, I'll never forget that. It's very much the little things, like you said earlier, the little things. How you do anything is how you do everything, and that's kind of a good snapshot of Nate Frazier. Nate, we could go a whole hour, probably should have. We got a loaded show. Nate, all I'm going to say is thank you. Thanks for joining us. Can't wait to see you in Athens. And before we let you go, you got a message for all these dog fans out there, a message for DawgNation?
DawgNation is going to be a different result from last year to this year, man. That's all I'm going to say. But, it's all in God's hands. And I can't wait to get a chance to see all you guys in the stadium, get a chance to have conversations with you guys, and I just want to get a big Go Dogs in the chat.
Awesome. Nate Frazier, buddy, take it easy, man. I got to run like Nate Frazier down the sideline to get this show going. Appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you, Jeff.
Wow. I told you we did too much. We got too much, but the show must roll on. That was Nate Frazier, number 1 on our Big 5 tonight for Before the Hedges, brought to you by Kroger. Let's go number 2 right now. How do you follow up a potential future RB1 at Georgia? Well, how about the quarterback commitment of the 2025 class, Ryan Montgomery? Had a chance to chat with him recently, shortly after his Georgia commitment, and it's really good stuff. I want you to watch this video, and really, I think I set it up in the piece really well, but really it's like these are the things you need to know why Ryan Montgomery was such a great fit to play at Georgia. Check it out right now on Before the Hedges. DawgNation spoke to Ryan Montgomery recently. Great interview. There were 4 spotlight things we want to show you. Do you want to know why he was such a good fit at Georgia? Well, let's let Ryan tell you why he was such a good fit as a dog.
Every time I visit Georgia, I just come away more and more impressed.
There was a key meeting with Ryan and Georgia coaches Mike Bobo and Gummy Van Gorder. Basically, he watched practice. He watched 3 hours of film. No recruit ever does that. But the main thing is he told them he wants to be here. It's a great fit, but he was going to have to make his decision soon. And the way Montgomery said that really swayed the Georgia staff.
I just told him this is a spot for me. I know I want to be here. I know I can thrive here. Like I said earlier, just my mentality in general fits very well with the mentality of Georgia, the mentality of Coach Smart and guys. And, after that, I think that kind of sparked something in Coach Bobo and Coach Gummy's heads. And I think after that, they just walked away, and, I think that just kind of was on their mind. And my dad actually told me that when I was walking out of the meeting room down the hallway to leave the facility, Coach Bobo actually told my dad, he said, Mike, this is going to work out. I believe this is going to work out. So
here's the big thing with Ryan. He comes in with no expectations of early playing time. He knows he has to earn it.
And if I don't play year 1, year 2, like I'm not going to run from the competition. Like I'm not going to want to go anywhere. I know Georgia's a spot for me.
This sounds way too Hollywood, but it was really love at first sight with Ryan Montgomery and the Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah, honestly, for me, I think the very first visit I took to Georgia, I want to say it was my freshman year going into my sophomore year. I think it was that spring, I believe, if I can remember right. Honestly, I think that was for a spring practice, able to watch the practice, sit in the meetings and just be around the program and the players and the staff. I just remember walking away that day thinking in the back of my mind, like, this is a type of place where I want to be and I want to be at for a long time. So honestly, after that, it's kind of in the back of my mind, like Georgia, if things work out, like this is where I want to be. This is where I'm going to be. But obviously, you know, I wasn't the top guy on the board throughout the majority of this process. And I think that this past spring visit was really the thing that put me to that spot. So that's kind of how it all worked out. Growing up, I've always wanted to win. I mean, I hate losing more than I love winning. So I've always wanted to just win at the highest level. I'm just super, super competitive.
I don't know if you planned this. I don't know if this was organic, but you said we usually hear, with that being said, for the next 3 to 4 years, and you went 3 to 5. And I was like, number one, I wonder if that was intentional. And number two, this kid just gets it, because that basically says, I'm here for the long haul. I'm here for a red shirt. Did you mean to make that way?
Yeah, I did. I mean, you said it perfectly. Like, I'm in for the long haul. I'm not gonna be a 1 or 2 year guy and just leave, you know, just because maybe I'm not seeing the field as much as I want to. Like, I know it might take some time, and if it does, so be it. Like, I'm gonna be happy because I know we're gonna be winning at a high level, and I'm gonna be just keep getting developed. So, I mean, like I said, I'm gonna be in it for the long haul. The highest level, I want to win national championships. I don't want to win 1 or 2. I want to win 3, 4. Like, I want to win as much as we can every year. So, I mean, I know I'm going to strive for that, and I'm going to push the guys around me, and the other guys around me are going to push me as well to get to that goal.
Coolest thing about being a dog, Ryan? What is it so far? You said, I saw the tweet this morning. Did somebody famous reach out to you? Did a former player reach out to you? What's been the coolest thing so far?
I would say just the feeling in general, you know, just finally having this process over, but being committed to a school like Georgia, like it's just, honestly, it really hasn't even hit me yet. Like, I'm committed to freaking Georgia. Like, it's crazy. Honestly, that's just the biggest thing I would say.
Check his shirt. Can't buy respect. Is that
Yes,
intentional? I mean, in the days of NIL and collecting and everything, this guy's rocking a can't buy respect shirt.
You can't buy it. Yes, sir.
Can't buy respect. What you can buy is all the 5-star groceries you want at your favorite neighborhood local Kroger. Love that piece with Ryan Montgomery. It'd been a minute. I talked to him a couple of weeks ago. I had to go on a cruise. We had stories to tell, but I wanted to come back eventually to Ryan because super good kid. I think he was wired, especially to be at Georgia. I've said this a few times about Ryan. I've found through my career covering Georgia recruiting, it's the players that want to be in Athens that have the most successful careers, and that's never more true than at the quarterback position. And get a guy that wants to be there that 3 to 5 years for the next 3 to 5 years. Hold on, I heard that. Totally different. Those are several good reasons in that package and that piece right there why Ryan Montgomery was a perfect fit as the 2025 quarterback in Athens for a lot of reasons. Much of those were kind of covered and chronicled there in that piece. All right, guys, going fast. Again, we're trying to move this train tracks along. You got questions for me, whatever, please drop it in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, share, tell a friend. Tell your dog people in your life that, hey, Before the Hedges always has something cooking on Wednesday night live here on DawgNation and all its social channels. One thing I wanted to do here with this story was that, hey, Georgia offers so many kids. They offer so many people. Georgia's the national championship. What is it like still to get a Georgia offer, an offer from the Dogs? Well, I got a chance to visit with Jorden Edmonds of Sprayberry High School. That's in Georgia, local Georgia, Cobb County, about Georgia offered him on Monday. What was that like? Where did it come from? What was it like? Does people still get excited about it? I want you to watch this and make your own conclusion. Did he tell you he got the offer? Did you have to find it out on Twitter?
I was in school. I was in the class when we was taking notes, and he was like,
I ain't gonna lie, he did not tell us.
Nah, he told me, and I was taking notes.
Hold on.
I'm gonna tell you what happened.
We was in school, like, I was in class, and then I was like,
My coach told me to call, the coach, that offered me. My coach told me to call him. So I walked out of class, I asked the teacher. I walked out of class. Well, I told him, I was like,
he gonna get this.
This Georgia coach wants me to call him, so I waited until after class to go now. So I went. I asked the teacher, can I take this call real quick? I called him, and we was talking, and he offered me. I ain't really expected for that.
What went through your mind when he offers you?
Well, I was just excited. I didn't expect him to offer me, right there.
That was Coach Dante, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, what did you do there on the offer? What did he say he liked about your game?
He said he said I had elite length and size, and he said he liked my build and how I played.
He is truly one of one. He is truly one of one. You can't find this, if you go looking around.
He's one of one.
Literally.
One of one.
Georgia got a good guy on his hands.
Where does Georgia, on offer, place them in your recruitment now?
Of course, it places them high just from being, who they are, Georgia being Georgia, but I do want to get to, I already know, everybody knows of Georgia, but I want to, get to know them personally, the coaching staff and all that. Just get to know them.
Now, you're 6'3". Normally, that's safety size. Why does Dante Coach Williams think that you play corner?
Because I can move. I'm 6'3", but I can still, move. My feet aren't slow. I can still move around and stuff like that.
If I had a camera on your face when you got that offer, what was your reaction?
Just surprised all around. Full on surprise. That's all it really was.
Shout out to the teacher that let you make that call, right?
Miss Reinhardt.
Miss Reinhardt.
And how'd you guys learn about it? What's the first thing you said to him after he got the offer?
So when he walked out, because I was sitting right behind taking notes.
It was Roman. This dude Roman. He was like, "Oh, that boy Jordan got a Georgia O." Everybody was like, "Oh."
Everybody walked in the gym. Roman was like, he got that O. Everybody started we all praising him
He got that O, huh? That's a nice way to say that, huh?
That O. That's O, yeah.
He got that O.
Now, what do you like best about the Dogs now? Why will they be a contender for you?
I mean, they're a winning program. They're just winners.
The best.
Yeah, just pure winners. That's all I can really say. I don't like losing.
So, 8th grade, I've been playing with this dude since 8th grade. And let me tell you, coming in 8th grade, everybody looked at him, he was like, oh my God, we need 4 people. We played Walton in 8th grade. They literally put 5 people on him and they could not stop him. It just amazed me. He's truly one of one. And
that was that receiver?
Wide receiver, DB. You got 3 picks that game.
I think I had 2.
Yeah.
What's he like on the basketball court? Can he hoop? Can he throw it down?
Jordan's freaky. He gets on that rim.
If you're on the opposite team and you're under that rim, you better pray to Jesus. You better pray, because it's not going to end good.
Gentlemen, man, appreciate your help. Thanks for letting me get to know your teammate, Jorden Edmonds. You guys call him J5? What do you guys call him?
J5. Jay so fresh. Jay is that guy.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks for hanging out. Oh, my gosh. A lot of stuff in that one. He's going to get at that rim. The young man, we're talking about what he's like on the basketball court. A nice little side note of that piece right there. There's a young man that he was matched up against. That was one of the guys that was saying he's one of one. And that is Mark Manfred, also at Sprayberry High School. He's got 8 SEC offers, but not a Georgia offer. And Mark basically told me matter-of-factly, Dogs ever offer him, it's a whole new bag for his recruiting. It's like, that might be a drop-the-mic offer. That might be, I'm done, I'm good, where do I sign? He grew up a Dog fan. He's been wanting to play for Georgia for years. But I thought that was really cool, a little bit of window. Everybody focuses so much on commitments now and who's going to commit and who's on commit watch that it was a good refresher that, did you hear that story about his teammates shouting out, he got that O, he got that Georgia O, and how important it was and how cool that was, and they were also very happy for him. Just wanted to, every once in a while, we got to make sure we don't get too ahead of ourselves in life and also on Before the Hedges, and just kind of remember that these offers from the University of Georgia are still something very special, very powerful to these young men. It galvanizes, it energizes a whole school, a whole fan base. And Dante Williams offered 6'3", 200, not 200, about 175, 185 pound Jorden Edmonds this week. He's a 4-star corner in 2026. I think he's currently the number 10 corner in the country, but Georgia finally offered, and it meant a great deal to that young man. And now Georgia is right up at the top of his recruitment already. All right, that's a big 3. That's number 3. Let's hit to number 4 right now. How about this? Would you like to talk to perhaps hear from perhaps the hottest recruit right now on the Georgia board. I get the feeling that Georgia wants to sign him. The way it feels, the way it seems like CJ Wiley, that Georgia wants to get the commitment and signing from CJ Wiley as much as any receiver in the 2025 class, and that is saying a lot with the great Travis Smith Jr. also, and the Dogs are in hot pursuit of that young man as well. But CJ Wiley, major target for the Dogs in 2025. Let's hear from CJ, but also check out this practice film. 6'4", about 200 pounds, lifts all the time, goes to the jugs machine all the time. He's running a 10.83 in the 100 meters. Check out CJ Wiley right now on Before the Hedges. I think last time I talked to you, you were going to take some officials, right?
Yes, sir.
How did those go?
I just took one.
You took one to Auburn?
So, yeah, it was Auburn, and it was pretty good. Yeah.
Did it set the tone for like what you're going to look for and all the rest of them, I guess, a little bit?
Yes, sir, pretty much. Yeah, he checked all the boxes.
What are you hearing from Ethan already? What's he talking to you about?
You talking about like Georgia?
Anything. Well, I mean, I'm sure he's making that a popular conversation.
Oh,
right?
yeah, for football, high school, we just like, I'm trying to help him out with the plays and stuff, make sure he like know what he's doing and everything. But with Georgia, he told me that we need you and all that stuff. Like, yeah.
What's the feeling like now with Georgia, man? Like, what? I'm sure you're talking to Coley a lot. He's probably making you a priority. Do you feel like that way?
Oh, yes, sir. He says me probably every day, and he just like say we need you, all that.
How's that feel?
Feel pretty good.
Think about all the things you like about Georgia. What do you think's the best thing you like about Georgia right now?
I'll say they're a winning team. So.
Your next visits? What are your next visits going to be?
Talking about OVs?
OVs. Are you not going to take any more unofficials until your OVs?
I don't think so. So my next one's, I'll say Bama. No, USC first, end of May, then Bama, then Georgia, then FSU.
You thought about a timeline yet when you want to get it done? Do you want to do it before your senior year?
After those OVs, so yeah.
How hard do you think that's going to be?
Oh, what you mean?
You're going to have to see all this stuff, right? I mean,
yeah.
Some guys, from my experience, they say, I'm going to do it on this date. Then they take all those officials, and it gets a little bit harder. For you, do you think you'll be able to decide before your senior year?
Yes, sir.
Biggest things you're looking for? Has it changed at all? What are the biggest things you're looking for in the right school?
Probably just like a coach that can develop me on and off the field, I would like a good communication with all the coaching staff, a place I can get to the league, and a place I get a good education at.
Can you just describe your typical day? Because I think you're still running track, you're lifting, you got spring practice. Like, what's your typical day look like? Yeah, we got.
So, coach,
it's in the next.
I made it to sectionals. We practice in the morning at 7. So yeah, we get that done. Then when I come out here for football.
What's your PR right now in the 100?
10.83.
10.83?
Yes, sir.
Oh, wow. CJ Wiley, thank you, man. Couple good minutes, man. Appreciate you. Hardworking guy, getting better and better every time I see him. CJ Wiley, mom and dad are LSU grads. Education is very big. His mom ran track. Jay Wiley ran track at LSU. His dad, Chuck Wiley, Charles Wiley, was a 2-time All-SEC defensive lineman. He went and played, I believe, 7 years with 5 teams in the NFL. CJ has some rare maturity. I'll be honest with you guys, totally honest. He's the type of receiver that I think would, not to use Georgia terminology here, but you can give him anything you want in NIL. It's not going to change the way he works, not going to change the way he eats off the floor. His father has surrounded him with great young men all his life, great men all his life. When they'd go to alumni events in the NFL or for LSU stuff, he would have successful, great football players, professional football players talk to his son, and CJ soaked up a lot of that stuff. Academics are very important. They're not worried about next year, or they're not worried about 3 months, 4 months down the road. They're worried about right now. They're worried about CJ's 3.5 GPA. They're worried about getting him out of 12th grade. They're keeping the main thing a lot with their with this recruitment. I think if you heard the names, USC, Georgia, Alabama, Florida State. He's already taken an official visit to Auburn. Those seem like the schools to watch. I'm told LSU will also get an official visit as well. But, man, just watch him, man. I don't see guys like this, not with the demeanor he has, the drive he has. There's a thing the Wiley family calls the Sunday service, where the whole family goes and catches on the jugs machine. Mama's got the pad, giving them the business. Dad's operating the jugs. CJ's catching balls on the jugs on Sundays, regardless if he had 5 catches for 105 yards and 3 scores on Friday night or he didn't have any. Same work ethic, never changes. He believes that everything he puts into his career right now will pay off in the future. And that, my friends, is scary to think about a guy with that talent, trained by Terrence Edwards, 6'4", 200+, lifts all the time, had track practice in the morning, had football practice at night, in the evening. Great captain type. All he really cares about is leading his team to another state title at Milton High School. And, man, just keeping it real, dog sign him. That would be a tremendous elevation for that room, that program. I think, what some people have said in the chat, I think the guy, Dro Suervo Chavez, like that name already, says hard to lose with players like that. And CJ Wiley would be one of those guys for sure. All right, that's 4, Big 5 time. Let's talk to Ethan Barbour. I consider him to be the anchor commitment of the 2025 class. He's trying to get in a race with Bo Walker to see how many guys they can both get to commit to the G in the class so they can be a peer influencer. Randy Hall, I know you had that question for me. Nobody gets credit for Montgomery. We do have an answer for who gets credit on Darren Akinabon, the recent G-Day commitment. And you'll find the answer right here amongst the final part of our Big 5 tonight. Ethan Barbour, DawgNation Conversation Time. Check it out. First impressions, day 2. I see you're rocking the Georgia. Did you have that on yesterday, or is this a new edition?
No, I had it on yesterday too. Keep the sweat on my eyes. Just headband I have.
Thoughts on playing with CJ? Thoughts on being in this Milton program? What are your first impressions so far?
It's great. Everybody work hard. Play with another demon on the other side of the ball. That's like me. Take the top off, run great routes. It's great. Just having that person that spread it out, and also having slot guys too is great over here.
How good is CJ when you've noticed him so far?
Great. He's great. Fast, agile. Take the top off, run underneath routes. He just whole package. Run intermediate routes. Whatever you tell him to do, he'll do it.
I'm gonna have some fun questions with you, Ethan. Okay. First of all, I got to ask you about something happy. Who gets credit for the last couple commitments? I know you were talking. You had that race with Bo about who's going to have more guys. Does anybody get credit for Ryan Montgomery? Does anybody get credit for Darren Akinabong, the edge out of New Jersey? I don't think nobody got credit for those, right?
I'd say I get credit for Darren.
Why do you get credit for Darren?
I was recruiting Darren the hardest, I would say. Ryan, that's more of like a coach's thing, I'd say. The coach was really on Ryan a lot. I'm now starting to build a relationship with Ryan. So that's great. You're going to be my quarterback years to come. So I just want to build that relationship.
I know the Julian thing is out there, but is it almost like if it's good enough for Georgia, that's going to be good enough for you? Is that how you might look at it? How do you accept that?
Yeah, man. You just need a quarterback, man. Quarterback that's going to get you the ball. Quarterback that's going to be solid. A quarterback that, just going to work in offense. You can't do anything without the quarterback. You start with the center and start with the quarterback. So, man, just get a guy like Ryan, it's great. He's a great player. I think he's going to be great for the team, and I think he's going to be great for the culture.
You going to have to work on Bo? Bo's still solid? Are you going to have to work on Bo? You going to get credit for Bo or what?
Nah, Bo's solid, man. That's my guy. Me and Bo, we go way back, playing like 8U. He was on Rare Breeze, and I was on the Atlanta Giants, so Bo good.
Ethan, thoughts on Elias? He seemed to solidify things with Georgia. I think G-Day helped a lot. From your perspective, how do you think Georgia got in great and improved its standing there with Elias at tight end?
Just, solidifying that family feel, make sure his mama felt good, all those type of things, make sure he felt good, just expressing how they're going to use him, just that family feel. I think that's what the biggest thing for him was, just being honest with him, all those type of things.
Either we're going to have fun with these last few. These are going to be real quick. Who's your favorite superhero? If you could be any superhero, who would it be?
Superhero? Probably Batman.
You'd be a Batman guy, huh?
Yeah,
Why?
Why? Gotham City, it's just you lurk on the buildings, swoop down, do what you got to do.
If you had to go D1 in another sport, what would it be?
Basketball, man. I was always a hooper my whole life. I didn't end up being 6'7", but I was always good at hooping. That was my thing. I always thought I was going to be a hooper before I was a football player. I picked up both, but I always thought I was going to be a hooper. But, things turned out well in football, I stuck with it.
Who was your favorite jersey growing up? Maybe it doesn't have to be football.
Oh, number 2. That was my jersey always growing up. I've had that number from the day I started playing football all the way until 8th grade.
What about NFL jersey? Anybody like that? NFL, NBA jersey? What was the one you rocked the most when you were growing up?
LeBron. I've been a LeBron fan my whole life, number 23, so.
Is LeBron the greatest of all time? Is it still MJ?
Yes, LeBron is the greatest of all time. No debate.
Why, man? The world's got to hear your opinion on that.
Man, LeBron just do it. He do it different, man. You know, he make people around him better. You know, Jordan, he always had great guys around him. He was playing. I say he playing in the era that people wasn't as good as now, as the era LeBron's playing in. You know, you got people pulling up from half court. They weren't really doing that back when Jordan was playing.
If Milton High School had a talent show among the football team and it was something really cool to win, so you wanted to win the talent show, what would be your talent? What would be your hidden talent you'd break out for the team to see? You got any hidden talents?
I got a hobby. I play golf. But you can't really play golf at a talent show.
But you can shoot 80, 85. What's your golf score?
Soon the 70s. I'm good.
You're in the 70s?
Yeah, I'm in the 70s.
Shoot far, man. That's pretty good. You're a great golfer.
Yes, sir.
What's the one food as an athlete you shouldn't eat or shouldn't eat a lot of, but you still eat it and you're like, man, I'll work it off? Like what's the one food, if you had to eat a food eating contest, that you would go crazy on?
Probably pizza. Pizza's good. I like pizza a lot.
Ethan, I know you know a lot of things going on with the class. One last thing, if you have a message to all the fans out there, what do you think is going to happen with this 2025 class over the summer?
We build it, man. Just keep watching. Watch us grow. You know, we might not be at the top right now, but we're going to be at the top at the end.
Got a wish list? Who do you want? Snap your fingers and make 3 guys dogs. Who would it be?
CJ Wiley, Travis Smith, and one more special one.
One more special one?
Yep.
That's one in your back pocket, right?
One in my back pocket.
You're going to get credit for that one, obviously, right?
I have to get credit for that one.
Hey, man, Ethan Barbour, he's now in Milton, red and blue. Thanks for hanging out with us, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, DawgNation, look at that. Ethan Barbour, anchor.
Wait. I found it. I found the Easter egg.
Yep.
I found it. Is that Brandon Adams, like Batman VA?
That was. What was the thing we started the show many moons ago? I tried to put Easter eggs in some of it. I said, look for a DawgNation staffer dressed in costume. And obviously you guys can go back and look at it. But the Easter egg, if you were looking for it, I told you guys to yell out, or not yell out because this is a social media platform, but make the comment of Easter egg in the comment section, because if you go back, this was a Before the Hedges show, maybe 4, 5, 6 years ago, something like that. We had Brandon and I did a show. This is back when we did Before the Hedges together, a couple studios ago, and we dressed up for Halloween. Brandon was Batman, or B.A. Man, and that's what I called it. And then I was Irk Russell. I had red pants on. I had a white polo shirt, coach's shirt. I had a skull cap I got from, your favorite Halloween costume party supplier or whatever. And I got some red blood and put it all over my head as a, Irk Russell type look. So long time Before the Hedges fans, you might remember that. But the Easter egg today, I didn't know if you had it on your bingo card, but Brandon Adams dressed as Batman. That's on the Before the Hedges bingo card tonight. Kelly, what'd you think when you saw that, man? Ma'am, was you just like, wow?
Well, at first I had to do a quick debate. Is that Mike Griffith or is that Brandon Adams? And final answer, I settled on Brandon, and I'm going to need you to send me that picture ASAP for, just in case I ever need it in my back pocket.
Young Kaylee, instincts continue to serve this talented young lady well. You got that one right. So that was the 5 conversations. Let me see if I can put a quick thought or two on Ethan Barbour here. Really knows his stuff, really invested in the class. He had good thoughts there on not only Bo Walker, but in Darren and Kingelbon, also Ryan Montgomery as well. But he talked about, of course, the LeBron Michael Jordan debate is obviously very interesting. That's a whole nother show. We're just going to park that one right there. I thought it was really cool how he talked about golf. His hidden talent was he can shoot in the 70s in golf. And, that is some major talent with the golf club. Ethan, man, you're shooting in the 70s, 80s when you're a high school tight end, as talented as you are, man. You're going to enjoy your retired life after about 8 to 10 years in the NFL, man, after a tight end you gets through with you. But I thought that was really cool. Ethan, they even talked about, I said, Ethan, you can snap your fingers, the Barbour board, the internal private board. And I said, you can make any 3 guys dogs. He said CJ Wiley. He said Travis Smith Jr. And he said mystery one. He has to put that one in his back pocket, but he will definitely get credit for that. And it's always good to hear kind of the things we know when we hear on the recruiting trail, and we hear that kind of reflected back by a really plugged-in recruit like Ethan Barbour as well. So that was cool. That was Big Five. That might put us in the running for our best Big Five ever. I think CK Emmett fan had a comment on YouTube or said, man, we're going to have tumbleweeds and crickets next week on Before the Hedges because we got all these DawgNation conversations. Well, that's probably not likely. That's not what we're going to try to do. We're going to keep attacking every Before the Hedges day. We're going to keep chopping wood because otherwise Kaylee would be very disappointed in us after the show if we don't try to give you our very best effort with each and every Before the Hedges edition, brought to you by Kroger. Question of the week time. This is pretty cool. This is something that I wanted to give you guys. I'm all about perspective. I'm going to hit you with news. I'm going to hit you with insight, but I'm also going to try and keep everyone grounded in perspective. We talked about earlier about offers and how those are still special. What about this one? Let's not get carried away with things, but it is pretty crazy. How many 5-stars has CKS, and of course we all know what that means, signed in his time at UGA? I want you to think about that for a second, good folks. Tell me what you think the number might be. Of course, you guys can do some math on us. You can act like you go to the North Avenue Trade School and get your slide rulers out, and you could sit there and go, 2016, there's usually 32 5-stars in every class because that reflects the number of NFL draft picks in the first round of the NFL draft, and you've got a lot of years from that. What would you say would be your best guess about the number of 5-stars that Kirby Smart has signed in his time at UGA? I've got Randy Payne with 25, Jermaine King with 15. I'm going to sound like Bob Barker here, but you guys got to go higher. UGA Boy for Life Brunetti, 18. Keep guessing, keep going. What do you think? Wes Davis, 10. Keep going. I mean, you guys are not giving CKS enough credit. This is going back to 2016. How many 5-stars has Kirby Smart signed for the Georgia Bulldogs in his time at UGA? And we're just talking about high school signees. I'm talking about transfers like, Eric Gilbert was a 5-star at one point. JT Daniels was a 5-star at one point. Straight 5-stars. And the correct answer, we see a lot of people weighing in. Thanks to everybody for commenting as well. Thanks to everybody on Facebook. Thanks to everybody on YouTube as well. Thanks to the DawgNation homepage. The correct answer there, guys, is drumroll 40. 40. So Kirby's only about 2 years away, maybe about a year and a half away from his 50th 5-star signee at the University of Georgia. Folks, that is a lot. Speaking of a lot, we got the final laps of our show. Get your questions in if you got one. But right now, let's take a look at our class breakdown. Nothing has changed. Some things might change over the next 2 weeks, though. You got 5 guys on offense. Ryan Montgomery, Bo Walker, Mason Short, Ethan Barbour, Elias Williams. Elias is currently the only 5-star in the Georgia class. That will certainly change. Highest rated guy as well, only top 30, top 20 guy as well. That's your breakdown for the offensive side of the ball. We already heard about Bo Walker today. We heard about Ryan Montgomery today as well in our Before the Hedges Big Five. Checking out defense. What's the defense look like? You got Stephon Shivers, you got Jaden Perlotti, and you got Darren Akinakbon. Only 3 guys on offense so far. That will certainly change. 3 guys on defense. There's 5 on offense. Total class size is number 8. It is crazy right now as we roll forward to our next part. Let's take a look at the commitment map, the snapshot right here. Guys, this is wild here. Georgia right now with only 8 commitments. Everybody else has like 20, 15, 12, 11. Georgia only has 8. I think July is going to be a very big month. Kind of teased it something like that on Before the Hedges last week. If you guys joined us last week. But right now, Arizona State and Wake Forest and Syracuse and Auburn, all kinds of schools like that are higher rated with their class right now than the University of Georgia. All will happen in due time right there. 5 in-state, 3 out-of-state, obviously 6 commitments in the SEC footprint. Akinakbon and Montgomery are the only 2 that are outside the SEC footprint right there. Let's take a look at the top targets and also get it rolling right there. Number 14, Cortez Smith, Usmani Cromah out of Leesburg, Georgia, Lee County. He's going to take his decision quite a ways into the season. Marion Dye out of Elkhart, Indiana. Coach Uzo Duribe was in Indiana to check on Marion Dye this week. Kalen Edwards, former Auburn commitment. Dontrell Glover. Did you guys see the new DawgNation recruiting minute feature on Dontrell? Thought it was really cool. In 58 seconds, we were able to tell you bench press is 475, why he's such a big factor right now for Georgia, why Georgia wants him. Dontrell Glover has been a 4-year starter at Langston Hughes, and at that high school program, folks, they definitely get after it. GATA, as I saw in one of our comment sections as well. Dijon Lee out of Mission Viejo, the 5-star cornerback. Bryce Davis, Greensboro, North Carolina. I'd look for him to cut his decision down to a smaller, more workable group sometime soon. Let's check out the other side of all that. Let's take a look at your early targets. Juan Gaston Jr., DawgNation conversation on him last week. CJ Wiley, DawgNation conversation on him this week. Juan Gaston said he's going to take his decision to the middle of the season. Travis Smith Jr., that's a guy that's going to make his decision sometime in July. Same thing for Zayden Walker. Zayden Walker is going to make his decision on July the 5th. Interesting, a lot of the chatter about Zayden. You see some other websites and national services are reporting that they think Miami and South Carolina are in quite good shape there with Zayden Walker. I find that very interesting. Justice Terry, he was a DawgNation conversation, I believe, about 2 weeks ago while we were on the boat. While we were on the ship. Let me not get tagged by the proper nautical police for that one. Elijah Griffin has got 2 official visits set. He's going to go check out, I believe it's Miami and USC this summer, Georgia, South Carolina, other schools that are going to get officials during the year. David Sanders Jr., man, this is a talented prospect. I saw him power clean 360 pounds. I believe his weight is now up to right around 280-ish approximate pounds. He's definitely getting thicker and bigger and stronger coming off that shoulder surgery. Interesting narratives right now, kind of soap opera-ish right now with David Sanders. It's shifted from perhaps Georgia at one time to Clemson at one time, and now you're hearing a lot about Tennessee perhaps, and then Ohio State. He just visited Ohio State this past weekend, so those schools now seem like they're getting a lot of national traction, at least, about the teams to watch there. Those are your top early targets. Let's take a look at just off the list. Thomas Blackshear out of Calvary Day in Savannah, Georgia. That's a name that's on the mind of DawgNation a lot right now. Javon Boggs out of Cocoa, Florida. Really great hands, really, really strong route runner. I think he would really thrive at Georgia should he choose to be a Dog. I know that Georgia has been prioritizing him. Javion Campbell, really super kid right here. This is going to get crazy, guys, because you remember the stories about Stephon Shivers, that 6'4", 350-pound zero-tech nose guard that has over 1,000 career points. Well, take the look here at the case of Javion Campbell. Didn't play high school football at all until last year. He had 14.5 sacks. Georgia's going to get his last official visit in June. He's going to make his decision in July. You want to talk about that basketball angle I was talking about? Mr. Campbell here has over 1,700 career points and like 1,100 career points and career rebounds in basketball. 1,700 career points in basketball. He's about 6'4". He's about 265. Georgia likes him to play a 3 or a 5 tech. Trey Scott is definitely working on Mr. Campbell right there. A couple of offensive linemen right there, Michael Fasusi, Henry Fanuku. Could those guys be part of the Georgia offensive line class? Christian Garrett. Garrett's also set his commitment date in July as well. I believe that's July 20th. Really talented defensive lineman out of Prince Avenue Christian. Isaiah Gibson as well, still committed to USC, still hearing a lot from the University of Georgia. Man, he looks really impressive in some of the clips I've seen of him coming out of spring practice. And moving right along, we have another look right here at just off the list as we're trying to speed through. Malachi Goodman, that's at the high school program which produced the late, great Devin Willock. Eugene Hilton Jr., wide receiver. That wide receiver board's getting very interesting for Georgia, who they might take, who might become available. Bo Jackson, we're putting his name on just off the list, moving him up right now. Bo Jackson out of Cleveland, Ohio, has a final 3, and it is Alabama, Ohio State, and Georgia. Georgia is in the final three there with a really talented running back out of Ohio. You think that Ohio State is a team to watch for right there. Todd Robinson, Valdosta, Georgia, Taylor, Eric Winters, Kevin Wynn out of Greensboro, Georgia as well. A lot of guys, a lot of mix. You see there New Jersey, Indiana, Ohio, Tennessee, Manassas, Virginia. Nathaniel Sweet Boating is actually at IMG Academy going to boarding school. Todd Robinson might be a cornerback or a defensive back should he eventually choose Georgia as well. Taylor also really likes the Dogs a lot. That's your off the list. That has been, like we said earlier, this has been you did too much, DawgNation Before the Hedges staff this week with a loaded show. I knew the conversation with Nate Frazier would be great. Please, if you're just joining us right now, please go back and check that out. I know a lot of times I try to listen to my audience, to listen to our audience very well, and I hear you guys that are somewhat jaded at times about this new culture and NIL and flips and everything else. You say you want to hear from the guys that are on their way to UGA or already signed, and then you're going to have some emotional investment right there. Well, if you watch that, you're going to be invested in the Nate Frazier story right there. Nate the Great Frazier. Guys, check out Brandon Adams in the morning. Check out DawgNation at large. Kaylee Mansell, Connor Riley, they're going to be playing the feud. It's not going to be a Jerry Springer show, although verbally it sometimes gets within about 50 feet of that, 50 yards of that. Entertaining program. If you're not checking it out already, please check it out. You got Mike Griffiths on the beat every Monday as well. Mike always shows up with newsmakers and very strong opinions as well. But this show, let me park this sucker right here. Before the Hedges, brought to you by Kroger. I'm Jeff Sentell. That has been your intel, and we'll see you guys again later on the pages of DawgNation.com. Take it easy, everybody. Be blessed.